there and excited to be here with the pop-up summit. Surprise. Surprise, you are on a summit or watching a summit. Um, and here we go. So it's the NeuroCreative Leadership Live Summit, and I'm excited to bring on one of my favorite characters in this life and world, Mr. Gary Coulton. And I can't wait to dive into this topic because it's very important. As soon as you said it, I kind of got really enthused by its title and how that relates to what I'm bringing to the ideas around how we lead our lives whilst being these creative minds at the same time that want to go off and do lots of things all at once, and then how do we execute that into projects and actual create reality from those things. So that's the premise. Thanks for watching here. And um, we're going to play around with these ideas because it's very much an experimental space of finding out what neurocreative leadership is. I've got pillars, but they're nothing without feedback. So we're here with the audience and the speakers to all see what lands. And a lot of the time, the speakers haven't got much clue as to what's been going to be asked. And that's the fun of it in some ways. But obviously, we all know some people's nervous systems if they need to have a plan and know what to expect. So it's not designed curiosity torture here. But yeah, so firstly, Gary, there's this I love this question around as you hear if you scan what's your favorite topic in life and or work and how you work or what brings you passion in what you do, that
Mhm.
favorite topic that is kind of the glue of how you show up in the world and how that relates to who you are and what you do.
Oh, nice, focused question. Um, well, I may have mentioned this in previous interviews, and forgive me if I have, but in 2000, I had a major shift in life. In two, in fact. One is my father died, and the other is I left the particular university I was working for, and the two things were pretty much connected. But 2 weeks before my dad died of cancer, he drew lots of members of the family together for one-to-one conversations. And to cut a long story short, he asked me this question. He said, Gary, who do you want to come to your funeral? And what was it you did for them that would make them want to come?
Wow.
It's a genius question. Absolutely. And it's the thing that has now underpinned everything I am and everything I do. So what he's trying to say is don't wait until you're dead to hope that somebody will say nice things about you and will want to come to your funeral. But think of it now. Now we're having this conversation. And it got me to think of this concept I call positive echoes. So we all leave echoes around us in everything we do and say. But why not try and make them positive echoes? Because they're then the antidote against all the chaos and nastiness that's happening at the moment. And it's not about just being nice to people. Sometimes you have to be quite formidable. You have to set boundaries but you do that for yourself first. So how do I leave a positive echo in me that then allows me to practice in how to leave positive echoes for other people? Once you get the hang of that, you have become a leader. You're leading yourself, but it's in what I would call a morally founded direction. So, sort of help.
I love it. Thank you for sharing. And what and as on and just on an extra little minute here, how does that help you do what you do as well? And what do you do and why because of that?
Okay, so I am now officially retired, but as you know, neurodivergent people never retire because we're curiosity driven. So my life has changed since 2014. I walked away from a 30 odd year long academic career, traditionally successful, but no, I never felt like I was in the right place, so I decided to leave. I then ran a business, which was an executive coaching business for 8 years. And in the end, I realized I loved the coaching, but I hated selling me. And at the same time, I identified as both ADHD and autistic. So I've developed over the years this personal operating system. It's a bit like a computer operating system, but it's very human. And that allows me to look at life and whatever I happen to be doing. I'm an author now, I'm a poet. And in that way, I'm always starting from a heartfelt thing. What are my values in life? My compassion for myself and other people. And then I can take projects up here and come up with elegant or wacky ideas. And then I test them with my gut brain. I ask it to tell me, am I brave enough to do this new wacky thing? And if I'm not, I get massive adrenaline surge and the fear and anxiety. So I go back to my heart, which reassures me that wanting to do this thing is good, but I haven't yet got the plan to carry it through. So I work on the plan again and test it with my gut. And eventually, my gut may still throw out lots of adrenaline, but it's saying, yeah, it's exciting. So it's learning the differences between these stages that allows you to lead yourself to do things that initially might feel uncomfortable, but you can come up with a morally founded, elegant plan, and your gut will help you carry it through. And that's my leadership model.
Amazing. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. And you've certainly reminded me of elements of how I've developed my own operating system based on these somatic coaching works and things like that too. And I really love that idea of testing the or taste testing the fear. And I've come to notice that sense of, is it fear of this or fear of this, and to just notice whether it's like, actually I want to do that, or I want to go over here, and why, and then retest it as well. So yeah, I really see that. Oh, sorry, I can't hear you whilst I'm talking, so go for it now.
And both are legitimate responses. There's no shame in shying away from doing something because it's likely that you haven't convinced your gut that you've got the right way of doing that thing. So instead of going back to the plan, you go back to your heart, your reasons for doing things, your purpose, your core values, and then you can go play again. And what I've found in myself and in people I've coached, when they do that, combined with learning a bit of deep breathing, what they call box breathing now, it quietens the nervous system and the left and the right side of the brain start to interact. So even if you're a quite analytical person, suddenly all these creative ideas start coming. And if you're a creative person, suddenly your ability to make these ideas real switches on. Because we've all got a left and a right side of our brain. We just possibly don't practice using the other half. So I'm in the busy business now of writing poetry. I haven't been a natural poet, but now I'm doing it. It's absolutely electric feeling. So I'm getting that self-directed helper's high, I would call it. When you do good things for people, you get dopamine, serotonin, and oxytocin hit, and it feels great. But you can do it for yourself as well. It's perfectly legitimate. And I just wonder whether people who are in positions of management or leadership actually understand how they can lead themselves in a way that isn't suppressing other people. And it's by becoming addicted to doing good things for other people. which might be giving them boundaries.
Love it. I love it. And that feels like it's coming back round to the positive echoes and the military militant generosity.
Yeah.
Yeah, amazing.
So this, only recently did I come up with this term of militant generosity, and I'm still working on it. But it's this concept of we, most people who have investigated their values in life like to help other people, and you get the hit. But there's a difference between putting a pound in a tin that's being rattled and moving on. You get a teeny tiny hit, and it doesn't last very long. If you go out of your way to do something which is bigger than, maybe a little scary, like volunteering long term for things, you get a much bigger and more long lasting serotonin, dopamine, and oxytocin release. So you become addicted biochemically to being generous. And I want more of it. It's a benign addiction, and it means that everyone else is doing well. So you get something back. Now, the crazy thing is, if you do those generous things because you feel you should do them, you don't get the hit because you're performing being generous. So it has to be authentic. And that means you've got to do that heart work and then find places to take your generosity leadership that mean something at a deep level. And then you can get addicted to being generous. And that is the social antidote to all the crap that's happening around us.
Brilliant. I love it. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing.
Okay.
There's one question that we'll go into like three really more laser focused listening in and one golden nugget kind of analogy that can come from this rather than necessarily the story.
Yeah.
So for you, there's three parts to that. One is when you see and become aware of your unique wiring as it is at this time in your life, Gary. What's the number one self-care piece that you go to that helps you every day?
It's nature. Nature decided that I would have a particular set of genes which gave me a particular kind of brain and probably other elements as well that gave me a maverick mind. And I have fallen in love with my maverick mind.
Amazing.
And once you can do that, everything else is possible. It doesn't get rid of the unpleasant things that society throws at you, but it's falling in love with the fact you have a particular way of thinking.
I love it. Thank you so much. Second part is when I say there's five different power words that are related to these ways of being that when we're in them, we can't judge ourselves or others. So
Mhm.
I'm going to run them past you and see which one lands for you. And it's about seeing which one's most prominent for you in this time that helps you grow and continue to grow at this time so that you actively know that you are working on it too. And so I'll say them and just see how they land for you. Um, Empathy, curiosity, creativity, navigation, and activation.
Well, the first three are easy. Empathy, I'm wired for it. So I absorb other people's emotions. I don't always know how to express my own, but I absorb everyone else's and I try and solve things. Curiosity, I woke up my first breath being curious about the world. I was the kid that pushed buttons. I was the kid that stopped escalators because I pushed the button. Always curious. I still am. Creativity, even though I'd spent my life as a scientist, people in general society don't understand how massively creative finding that first idea is from nothing and then going on and testing it. What were the last two?
There's a navigation and activation.
So my way of navigating the world in every respect is zoom out, zoom in. So I zoom out to see the big picture and I look around and go, oh, that's interesting. And I zoom into it. I can obsess for a while and then I lose touch with that obsession and I zoom out again. So that's my navigation. And the last one was
Activation.
activation. I have no problem starting things. So as a writer, I don't have the blank page problem. Not, I just go for a walk. My problem is maintenance of the activation because I can already see the end point. That's the, I think, fairly typical of my kind of neurodivergent brain. Somebody says, "Ah, I'm studying this thing, X, Y, and Z." My brain goes, "I can see the whole thing right to the end, but I can't necessarily find the energy to take every step because I've already done it."
Yeah. Okay. So that's great to hear. So yeah, that sounds like activation is one of those ones that is a continual process. They all blend in some ways, but it's separating them out. It's like maths or words, you know, separating them out actually helps to then make the sentences better again sometimes. So okay, yeah, activation, that's a good one to work on. Excellent. Thank you for sharing.
Mhm.
We've already touched on the creativity and the leadership, which was like how that works for you. And so we don't need to mention that topic because what I got from it was creativity is kind of more related to the left hand side of the brain, and the logic side of the brain is the right. And so if that's the right way round, and or it might be the other way around. But yeah, th those two pieces are sort of opposing forces, but also it's like spend time zooming out and then spend time zooming in. And so I think we can move into more about this topic of what we're talking about again. You've mentioned some great points that if anyone's watching, you know, highlight what you've got from this, share, give us a little nod that you're watching and you enjoy it. There's going to be these talks are going to be on the dashboard as well of the whole summit. So there's going to be lots of different ones. There's going to be a little set of fun multiple choice questions on each one. So it's going to be fun to like remember to remember, which is one of the things that I think a lot of neurodivergents say that I've heard lots is remembering to remember to do it rather than just doing it. And so if it's easy to remember, it's just done. But if it's remembering to remember, that's the bit that people struggle with a lot. So but within all that process of what you feel is your unique gift now, your unique value in the world that you're bringing with what you're doing, Gary, with your strengths and skills that's creating the best results in your life. What would you say that is that relates to what you're bringing? Yeah.
Hmm. I think it boils down to my realization that I'm trying to help people understand that they can trust their own wisdom. My proposal is that nature gave us all the tools to be wise. It's innate, it's there. But society as it is does not reward wisdom. It's for other special people. So I'm just going to get my head down and just do what I do. And I think that is a fundamental suppression of people's personality and potential. So my focus with whether it's poetry or prose, writing, for want of a better description, self-help books, is how do you find your own innate wisdom using the seminar of your life and thereby make wiser decisions a little more often? What would life be like if you did? Doesn't mean you have to be an intellectual genius. You just have to make slightly better decisions. And it's a practicable art. It's called paying attention. So my job is to invite people to look at specific things in their daily lives and pay more attention to what happens when I do this new thing. It's the scientist in me. And if it gives you a good result, you do more of it. If it doesn't give you a result, you kind of go and try something else. So that's what I'm working on is convincing people they're a lot wiser than they would are led to believe.
Brilliant and amazing. And is there? I love the word call to action because when we're hearing something that we're resonating with, that it's a calling to take action, and it's not necessarily just a marketing term which has been
No?
used, but it's that sense of it's either like you said before, it's either an embodied kind of I'm not interested, or it is an interested, but there's a expansive fear of growth, and maybe there's resistance, and the call to action is refused in that moment for some reason, and that's okay or it's a call to action and there's a resistance and it's a it's a it's either a no or a yes, and it's that double checking those things. So what would you say your call to action is at this current time, Gary?
Is learn to listen. So one thing I would invite people to do is look at their conversations. And are you simply waiting to get your opinion in if there's a gap? Or do you actually then listen to what the other person's saying and allow it to affect the way you think? So the first level one is I don't care what the other person thinks. I'm just going to tell you that my football team's better than theirs. That's usually men, you know. Level two is I'm actually going to listen to the other person. Um, I might not agree with them, but I'm actually going to listen. That changes you, even though you don't know you're being changed. Level three would be I'm intentionally going to listen to them and invite change in myself because I know my idea is not perfect. Level three. Level four is absorbing the whole of them, not just the words, but their physicality, and allowing yourself to recognize your own emotional response to a conversation. And it can be really simple. It doesn't have to be, high conflict. It can just be chatting to a mate. Pay more attention to, and that's the first step I always invite people to take. There are many, many, many other things you can notice, but listening, and I love the sound of my own voice, by the way. Listening it is an art form that you practice and practice and practice. And you use the seminar of your life. You know, you could not pay for a course as rich and deep as your own life. It's priceless. So why pay no attention to it?
Incredible. Yeah, I love that. Mm.
One caveat, the attention you pay must not be attached to judgment. You don't judge yourself about how good you are at listening, and you don't judge the other person. You just notice things, and the rewards are incredible.
Love it. Thank you so much. Thank you. You mentioned about books. Which ones are there, and how do people be in
Uh,
touch?
so the simplest thing, I'm very, very active these days on Substack. So if you just look for garycolton.substack.com, I, it, I have a free weekly long form post, so like a blog post, and also there are notes that go out. And then my published work is a memoir called Demons to Champions: How I Fell in Love with My Neurodivergent Maverick Mind. So, warts and all, it mentions my time as a scientist, but it's got almost no science in it. It's just telling a story. Um, that's memoir. Work in Progress is a book called Wisdomize, which is making wisdom a doing thing. So it's like the listening exercise. So it's really the memoir that's out there that people can access now. Wisdomize hopefully will be published in May, and a book of poetry towards the end of the year.
Wow, awesome.
Hmm.
Amazing. So what I'll do is in the dashboard of the whole summit, there's going to be the lists of speakers and all the different ways to contact and get hold of those things, and we'll be spotlighting and remembering to remember if it's been really interesting. So please give us a wave or
Will do.
look out for the group as well. There's a group on a live. We're doing a live on Monday night, 8 p.m. till 9:30, in terms of the wrap up of all of these that we've recorded and celebrating the release and launch of all of them. So we'll spotlight for the next couple of weeks as well. So if you want to check out more of these, please join our summit, and I will send the registration link as soon as there's a wave,
Mhm.
and or join uh the live event on Monday night too. So thanks for watching and listening. Is there any highlights, questions, or comments? And that's it for now. Actually, one last thing, Gary. What's one thing that landed for you around all of this that you found useful?
Well, I'm going to sound arrogant, but the opportunity to share a lifetime of self-reflection. That I see that now at the age of 69 as my role. So deeply grateful. Thank you.
Amazing, amazing. And I'm gonna scan that I really loved the idea of generosity that is chosen out of conscious presence, awareness, because that is remembering not to give away everything because it feels like a should or a could.
Yeah.
And it's remembering what that means and it being a conscious, powerful choice. So I believe that there's something in this again for May when we do it again. So we'll do another talk in May and get longer and stronger with rigor and vigor, as I like to say.
I like that very much.
That'd be great. Awesome. All right. Well, thanks for being here, Gary. And yes, looking forward to more. And yeah, give us a sign up if you want to see the rest of these awesome handpicked speakers that are dedicated to helping others through their passion and work and
Sounds
message.